Okay, guys, so with how temperamental Etsy bots have been recently at suspending people's shops for seemingly no reason at all, you do not want to be taking any additional risks. But sadly, I know that there are still a hell of a lot of shops out there doing some very innocent things that could so easily lead to their shops getting suspended either now or any random point into the future. So if you want a long-lasting, sustainable business on Etsy, you need your shop to be pretty much suspension proof. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to show you how to avoid any potential risks of you getting your shop suspended on Etsy at all. And if you're new here, my name's Alfie. I've been selling on Etsy for a few years now, and I've earned some pretty decent revenue in that time. And this is going to be a tutorial video, guys, so let's get straight into my dashboard. Okay, guys, so we're going to start off strong here. And now, over time on your Etsy shop, this is going to be pretty much inevitable, okay? You are going to start receiving some IP claims that's going to be made against you and your products from competitors. Now, sometimes, and we know this best as shop owners, they may be completely legit. However, certainly from my experience and clients I've worked with, most of the time, they are not going to be legit. And it's just going to be from competitors trying to take your listings down or people from the outside just trying to cause issues with your shop. Guys, it is so important to fight every single IP claim, within reason, of course, that is made against your shop. Because, you know, what a lot of people don't know, and it's such an easy way that I see people getting suspended on Etsy, is that over time, if you don't fight them back, these IP infringement claims start to add up against your shop. Etsy takes note of all of them. And once you get to a certain point, I don't know exactly how many, Etsy haven't disclosed this, but once you get to a certain number of IP claims raised against your shop, Etsy will just suspend your account. Please promise me, if you're watching this channel, if you get any IP claims and you think you're in your rights to fight them, please fight them. And another reason I see so many people getting suspended on Etsy, guys, and this is such an easy one to avoid, please don't lie when you're setting your shop up. And this is talking specifically about the location. If you live in a country, say Austria, for example, not Australia, Austria, please don't say when you're setting your shop up that you live in the USA. Now look, I know it can be tempting because, right, if we say we live in the USA, maybe that's going to help us target a more local USA audience, so we're going to get pushed higher up in searches. Guys, I just want to say, most of the time, this really doesn't matter. So look, if you're selling print-on-demand items specifically, okay, you are not the one that's physically shipping out these products. So after you've actually already set your shop up, once you go to your shipping profiles, you can then label the dispatch location of your shop and where the items are actually being sent from as the supplier that's actually going to be making and shipping your products. So for example, if you live in France, please say that when you're setting your shop up that your shop country is France. But then when you go through to do your shipping profiles, obviously because you are going to be using, say, a US supplier to create print-on-demand products, you can then say that those products are being dispatched from the USA. And that's totally fine, guys. You won't be impacted at all in US searches because of this. Of course, if you're selling digital products, this, of course, doesn't matter at all. There's no global correspondence to where you need to be in comparison to where you're going to rank in searches. If you're selling handmade products, just be legitimate and just be truthful, okay? Because if you're not truthful, you're just going to get a suspended account at some point down the line, and it's not going to be worth it anyway. And again, guys, I'm mentioning these specifically about shop setup. You'd think they're common sense, but you'd be surprised. I get so many emails about people that have got suspended accounts, and then I ask them just some very basic questions, and then it turns out they've lied about their banking or they've lied about their location. Please, guys, if you're watching this channel and you're setting a shop up, just be legitimate, and importantly, just match up that the bank details that you're putting in also match up to the location of the bank and the location where you are residing. All right, next up, guys, taxes. And now this is everybody's favorite subject, of course. Now, sadly, guys, we do need to pay taxes. And look, if you live in the USA specifically, Etsy needs to produce a 1099K for you. However, they cannot produce this form for you if you haven't filled out all of your ID verification. If they can't produce this form for you, then your taxes can't get done. And certainly if you haven't verified your identity or your banking on Etsy's actual profile, then of course, this is going to end up to your account being suspended at some point down the line. And guys, to do this, it's so simple. Just go to your finances, legal and tax info, and then you can fill out all of the information that Etsy's asking for there, And it's pretty simple to do. It takes 10 minutes. Just do it, get it off your chest, get it out of the way, and then just continue selling loads of products on your wonderful shop. Okay, next up. And now I see a lot of people getting their shops suspended for this, right? If you're doing anything, let's say digital products mainly, print on demand mainly, a lot of what you do is going to be taking inspiration from bestseller products. I mean, that's what it should be, taking inspiration. But I know for a fact, and you probably know this as well, there's a hell of a lot of sellers on Etsy that will just straight up copy listings. And I mean, copy it to a T. So they will not change anything about it. They'll use the same picture, even sometimes the same mock-up, and just create an identical replica of a best-selling listing. You should never do that, guys. What you should do is take a concept, just like I'm showing here on screen, take a concept of a mug as an example, and change it to something that you think is better and something that you think has a better chance of making more sales. Taking the concept is fine, but please, guys, put your own twist on it. And this is where the problem comes in. If you directly copy, you are just leaving yourself wide open to a hell of a lot of IP infringement cases being raised against you. And like I said in one of my previous points, the more these cases are raised against you, that sadly, sometimes you can't fight back. If you have literally explicitly copied the listing, it can be very hard for you to fight back. And, you know, over time, they're going to add up, lead to a suspension, and then all of that copying bestsellers, all the time you put in, just wasn't worth it in the end. So yeah, guys, don't copy, make it better. And now this is actually a really common one, guys. I see a lot of people doing this. And in fact, I've actually had multiple clients come to me where their shop actually started out doing exactly this. So if you're using things in your listings like song lyrics, celebrity names, movies, footballers, games, franchises, etc., 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 you know, anything that could be copyrighted or trademarked, chances are, even if the actual holder of the copyright or trademark, even if they don't explicitly contact Etsy and ask to have your listing taken down, Etsy have got the tools in place now to very easily scan your listing, scan your keywords, scan your tags that you're using. And if they see anything that's copyrighted or trademarked, they will take the listing down themselves. Over time, if this happens enough with your listings and you get enough listings taken down for this, Etsy are just going to suspend your account. Always make sure to read the Etsy policies. And to be honest, guys, for me, it's just not worth the risk. I know it might seem like an easy way to get a lot of clicks, a lot of views, obviously big search volume to not much competition. I know it can be tempted to go this direction, but in the long term, like, you're not going to build a sustainable business doing it. I think that there's enough ways to get best-selling designs out there. There's enough ways to make your own best-selling products that you don't need to go down this copyrighted and trademarked route. All right, moving on to the next one now, guys. And this is to not sell any prohibited items. If you can help yourself, please do not do this, okay? There is no judgment here. If you like alcohol, if you like tobacco, if you like drugs, you know, no judgment, but please don't sell that sort of stuff on Etsy, okay? Hazardous materials and weapons, no go. Pornographic content, I can't believe I need to say this, but no go. Hate items, again, another no go. This is directly from the Etsy policy, by the way. I'd say if in doubt, and for whatever reason you are ever thinking of selling any of these things on Etsy, please just check the policy. You know, these aren't my rules, these are Etsy's rules. They're going to lead to your account getting suspended. And yeah, there's not much more to say on this one. Before you sell anything, check the policies. All right, and now this is a bit of a tricky one, and I see this catching a lot of sellers out. When you open up your store, don't take the risk with a VPN on, okay? And I know a lot of people, myself, by the way, like to sit in a coffee shop. Like, say, if we're working from a local coffee shop, I like to have a VPN on just because it keeps me a lot safe when I'm using the public Wi-Fi. This is a bit of a 51, okay? Sometimes you can be completely fine, but sometimes it can also really mess with the Etsy algorithm and what Etsy are looking at in terms of red flags when it comes to a shop setup, and it can lead to your shop getting suspended, guys. I don't want to say this is, you know, a complete off the table, never do this, or like do this and you're 100% going to lead to a suspension. It's certainly, in my opinion, why take the risk? I don't think it's worth the risk. I think you're better off to just set everything up completely legitimately from the country you're in, on your own protected Wi-Fi at home. There's not much more to say on it, but especially if you're setting your shop up, by the way, and you see this red banner come up that is suspended before you've even finished the shop setup steps, that's normally a big indication that something's flagged with Etsy, like, quite seriously, and they don't even want you getting to the open shop stage. So yeah, this could be because you tried to set it up with a VPN. Right, next up, guys, this is actually a really weird one, and I feel like it's one that not many people know about. And to be honest, myself personally, I didn't even know about this one until this year. So I moved to Bali last year in 2024, and at one point my family came over to visit me, and we started doing a little bit of shopping online. I think my mum was buying some stuff like as early Christmas presents, because, you know, mums are just like super prepared for Christmas. But yeah, I think it was like around about September time, and she was looking at buying some products on Etsy. She didn't actually have an Etsy account, so we set one up for her, just not like to open a shop or anything, just a normal buying account. And then she went on there to buy some products and get it delivered to her address in England. But of course she was in Bali, and the shop was set up in Bali. The order went through completely fine, but then within the space of, I'd say, 3, maybe 4 hours, she got an email saying that her account was suspended. And this wasn't even a shop, by the way, guys. This was just a normal buying account. And in so many words, they essentially said the account was suspended because of weird activity happening in different countries. And then they wanted my mum to basically just prove that she was actually the user of the account. She was actually the one in Indonesia making the purchase for England. And then, of course, as soon as she did that and actually proved that this was the case, she did get her account back. But yeah, it's just one thing to keep an eye out, guys, because say, for example, my mum had an Etsy shop set up and the whole account got suspended. She may well have thought that the reason she got the account suspended was something to do with the shop. And in actual reality, it wasn't. It was something to do on the buy-in aspect of things. So yeah, it's a weird one, but one to consider. Okay, next up, guys. So if you get too many cases raised against you, this is going to be a problem. And now, of course, we all know buyers can very easily open up cases against sellers on Etsy. And I've got a little screenshot here from a buyer's account just showing how easy this is to do. And it normally happens if the customer gets annoyed because the product's either late, you know, bad quality, it's not quite as described. And over time, guys, you get too many of these cases, they are going to start to add up, and they could very well lead to a suspension in your shop. But I mean, the very easy way to deal with this is, guys, especially if you watch any of my content, you know that we promote as a community just having the highest quality shop you can, having an Etsy shop that you're proud of, producing products that you're proud of, and of course with that having incredible customer service as well. A lot of people miss out on this. It's extremely important. As long as the buyer is happy, they will have no reason to raise a case against you, and you'll never find yourself in this problem. Certainly if you're one of the sellers in this community, then I know that you won't be having any cases raised against you anyway. But of course, like I say, if you did, make sure to just sort them out and don't let them stack up. So yeah, guys, getting your business suspended can be a real kick in the teeth. I know it can. And it's certainly going to stop you dead in your tracks. But look, if you wanted to start a business on Etsy, whether it be print on demand, drop shipping, digital products, even handmade products, and you wanted to start that business with the security and confidence of knowing that you're not going to get suspended, then I've done a whole video breaking down exactly how best to start these business models and explaining exactly what's involved with each of them. If you wanted to check that out, I'll leave a link to that video just here. Otherwise, guys, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. Take good care of yourself as always, and I'll catch you on the next one, hopefully. See you guys.